Good evening, friends. Pardon this slight smoking, but these back benches have suddenly come in the front bench, and I don't know whether they allow us to speak well. So we at BMPA welcome all of you to the launch of this new forum called the BMPA Carton Forum. BMPA, in its endeavor to touch all the different sections of our immense industry, feels that a specific forum was needed to address the issues of the packaging industry, and hence the constitution of this forum. Friends, I will now invite our President, Mr. Fahim Akbotwala, to give his opening remarks.
Thank you everybody for that not so warm welcome. I'm so happy to see a full house over here. So good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Special welcome to our honored guest, Mr. Ashok Goyal, who's the Managing Director of SL Propack, who will be speaking to us in a few minutes. We also welcome our special speaker, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan, who's the ex-head of Colgate Packaging Development. I welcome my committee members and all the BMP members who've made it here in spite of the horrid weather. A warm welcome to all the stakeholders, our vendors and material manufacturers who are present here. We look forward to working with you in making this forum a success. At this moment, I want to thank our today's event sponsors, HP Fuller, as well as ESCO, both of whom you will hear from in a little while. I'm sure you all know what the BMPA is and what it does. I'm very proud of my managing committee team. We've gathered here to launch the Carton Forum, one of our newest initiatives, headed by our committee member, Tushar Bhotika. Tushar, can you stand and make everybody know who you are? Yes. So that's him. He will give you the details of why we have launched this initiative. All I can say is that since packaging is the fastest growing sector in our trade, there must be a group who can address the common issues and become a platform to reach out to all the stakeholders. I would like to highlight some of our upcoming BMPA events to you.
Yes, ma'am.
We are doing this SAS worker training workshops, which are very well received by the community. And we've had 5 successful workshops till now. And every month we continue to hold them for the benefit of our staff and workers. This is a special training which is in the regional language, and a lot of the suppliers and manufacturers over here have been very helpful by providing us speakers and trainers from their companies to train our staff and workers. On the 26th of June, we are having a full-day workshop on standardization in association with the Pressman Academy. So that's on the 26th of June this month. From the 20th to 26th of July, we are taking our members for an educational tour to Switzerland and Germany to visit Bobst, KBA, and Canon OSE and Perfecta, with also the BMW Welt thrown in Munich. Limited seats remain, and I request you to register yourselves and your team members for this. You may meet Prashant Shah or my team members who are sitting on this table over here if you want any more details. Prashant Shah, can you please show yourself to everybody? I'm sure you can see the big huge days. There's a committed team of BMPA who are working with export-import consultants, some of the best in the country, and they're doing a study on which are the print markets which we can export to. We intend to take a delegation of printers to meet the buyers in these countries that we have identified. More details will be sent to you on email as well as hard copy. But this is a big thing that the BMPA is doing. We're identifying markets and buyers, and we'll take printers and converters directly to the buyers to meet them in their country. We've had a series of export seminars with Ajit and Mihir Shah. The next one is on ECGC, not EPGC, but ECGC, that's something called an Export Guarantee Scheme, and Incoterms, which is on the 6th of August. Very soon we'll be launching our member-only special offers on purchase of software from Pitstop, Corel, and Adobe. We'll be sending details soon to you. And a very, very special offer is going to be launched today. I will return for the big announcement after the course of today's events. I'll come back to you. Thank you very much for your patience and to come here. Thank you.
So now is the turn of the man who is responsible for this entire forum, the person in charge, Mr. Tushar Bhotika.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. While we await the arrival of a chief guest today evening, Mr. Ashok Goyal, I welcome you all from the printing fraternity to this occasion, the launch of the long-awaited BMPA Carton Forum. And I thank you all in this wholehearted support on this initiative. I also thank our sponsors, Messrs. HB Fuller and ESCO, for the support. In the last 60 years of the BMPA, Bombay Master Printers Association, the printing industry has come a long way from being master printers focused on commercial printing to now, like many of us, changing and evolving into packaging converters, the highest growth segment of sheet-fed offset printing. This has brought about new concerns and new challenges before all of us, for the present and for the future, for this particular vertical of printing. Thus came the need to evolve a platform which addresses the issues of this vertical. By bringing together the converters under the BMPA roof to a forum dedicated and focused to its needs, we are sure to succeed in doing so. I shall first give a brief overview of the forum for the benefit of our guests. We have tried to keep this forum a focused packaging entity. The membership and eligibility of this forum is open to all BMPA members. The member should be a primary member of the BMPA and have a complete packaging setup comprising of the minimum following equipment: a multicolor printing machine, a coating machine inline or offline, an automatic die cutter, and an automatic folder gluer. The above four are the basic equipment for any company to be a serious player in the business of packaging. The objectives. In the initial stages, we shall focus on certain basic objectives. As we go along and the confidence of all is established, we shall start taking up other important matters one by one. We shall form task groups for each of the objectives from within the members so as to ensure that each objective is acted upon by a specific team. The objectives are: 1. Recognition of the forum as a representative body of the packaging vertical by all stakeholders across the industry and its related companies and associations of paper, ink, machinery, trade bodies, etc. Second, financial health and related issues and tax matters concerning the industry. Third, technical knowledge seminars to benefit all of us. Fourth, industry price, process, and rate standards. And fifth is the future development of the industry. In line with our first objective, today on the occasion of the formal launch of this forum, we have invited our industry partners from the major capital goods and raw material vendors, trade association members to join us. I wish to state here that the objective of this forum is to ensure that while our members grow and prosper with the actions on our objectives, we also want you, our industry partners, to work with us hand in hand and move towards a situation of mutual trust and confidence which benefits all of us. There are many areas of improvement where all of us can work by understanding each other's problems and look for lasting solutions. I earnestly request all our partners to come forward to help us succeed in this objective. In addition to the above, we shall try to take along packaging converters from other regions on an all-India basis. This is with the objective to make a pan-India impact on important issues as we go along. This will be done by inviting such converters from various regions and other regional associations through our parent body, the BMPA. Now I come to focus on the carton board packaging industry as it is today and some of the issues facing us and a bit about what we see in the future. While the entire spectrum of packaging industry in India is approximately the size of 25 billion US dollars, approximately 150,000 Indian rupees, 150,000 crore Indian rupees, our board packaging segment is currently estimated to be around 25,000 crore Indian rupees. It is estimated that it is growing at 8% per annum for the last 5 years, which is just around 1.5 times of the average GDP rate in India during the same period, which is around 5% or so. Past studies have shown that the ratio of board packaging growth to GDP is higher when GDP growth inches higher. So with a projection of GDP to grow at 8 to 10% in the coming years, we can all look forward to a segment growing at 15 to 20% in the coming 5 years. That's a huge jump from the 8% which we have experienced in the last few years. We should also note that the growth projection of a segment worldwide over the next 5 years. I welcome Mr. Ashok Goyal. Thank you for coming, sir. We should also note that the growth projection of a segment worldwide over the next 5 years is projected to be around 5% annually. That's worldwide. Currently, the total consumption of board worldwide is estimated to be 55 million tons. This means a per capita world average of less than 8 kgs. However, the per capita consumption in India is less than 4 kg, whereas in a relatively small country like Taiwan, it is 20 kgs, and in most of Western Europe, it is 40 kgs. So we have a long way to go to catch up, and obviously when we grow, the world average also increases. While the future growth scenario is extremely bright and encouraging, it also throws up many challenges and questions. Foremost among them is the level of investment that is required to be made in the future. To achieve growth and to keep pace with the demands of the customer and the forever changing and improvements in technology, we need to make huge investments. A survey of printing converters last year revealed that most were of the opinion that large investments have to be made every 2-3 years to keep pace with the growth and remain competitive. However, does this level of investment yield the desired results? Is the industry able to generate the desired ROI, return on investment? Are we creating capacities to service the customer without getting their prices to justify the investments? Are we, as an industry, not working at cross purposes by indulging in a price war? Can we not move towards a situation where the customer stops dictating to us and works with us like a business partner? A lot of introspection is required in all these issues. Secondly, vendor support. While we as converters are doing our best to fulfill the demands and expectations of our clients, I am sure the same effort is being made by our business partners, our vendors, both machinery, equipment, and raw material. Many of them are present here today in force. Yet, a fast-growing industry which is trying to compete and be on par with the best in the world needs quality support of international standards with best practices. With the kind of investment and growth that is projected, it is in the interest of all long-term players to ensure that the products and services they offer are on par with international standards, whereas the prices they charge are in line with Indian market conditions. Herein lies a challenge for them to meet the expectations of us, the converter, on parameters of price, quality, and service. Together, we can and will succeed. The issue of skilled manpower. Our industry uses equipment which are proof of the highest level of engineering excellence in the world. Yet, the people running them are usually having no formal training at all. The time has come to establish training centers so that we are able to utilize our equipment to the maximum potential and also maintain it to the standard they deserve. Over the next few years, the industry needs to work together to achieve and realize this goal. The challenges are many. The road is long and the path to success is not easy. Associations and a forum like this one, the BMPA Carton Forum, are born out of the need of the hour. But for them to last a lifetime requires teamwork and effort of all, and the support and cooperation of all stakeholders. Today, we have made a beginning. Well begun is half done, but only half. I am sure that looking at the presence here of such an audience, we shall go a long way in fulfilling our aspirations and objectives. There is a famous quote of Henry Ford, the legendary car maker. He said, "Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success." That's what we should all dream about. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Tushar, for just making everything so clear. And I think our heart is in the right place. We just need to enforce all our thoughts and our ideas into making it work. Friends, let me now introduce to you our chief guest for the evening. Mr. Ashok Goel is the Vice Chairman and Managing Director of SL Propack. And as we all know, he's a visionary industry leader. He started his career by overseeing the family's manufacturing and export activities and has been involved with SL Propack since its inception as a director and thereafter as Vice Chairman and Managing Director from 1994 onwards. Under his able guidance, SL Propack, one of the world's largest manufacturer of laminated tubes, has evolved from a single tube manufacturing unit to being the leading Indian multinational it is today, with 25 units in 12 countries, selling more than 6.6 billion tubes a year. Wonderful, sir. Over the last 3 decades, Mr. Goel has helped expand the company globally at strategic locations. He has set up greenfield businesses and spearheaded several critical acquisitions and joint ventures. His focus on innovation and R&D has ensured that SL Propack ranks amongst the few vertically integrated tube manufacturers in the world with extremely high quality packaging solutions for the FMCG and pharmaceutical brands. SL Propack's 400 happy customers across the world are testimony to the excellent products delivered by the company under Mr. Goel's leadership. Oh, there's an interesting part to Mr. Goel. He is also the chairman of SL World and Water Kingdom and has been the founder chairman of Amusement Parks India. He also serves as chairman of ITZ Cash Card Limited, a premier payment solutions company. A commerce graduate of Haryana University, Mr. Goel is a self-made man and truly believes in first-hand learning backed with the power of a can-do attitude. He is personally involved with several educational, medical and social institutions and contributes to charitable and philanthropic causes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Ashok Goel. Mr. Goel, I will just invite you to please light the lamp. Mr. Lakshmi Narayan, can I request you also, please? Thank you. Mehul bhai, can I please request you too? Thank you. Ashok ji, I would like to now invite you on stage. Friends, Mr. Ashok Goyal.
Good evening. When Sunilji Kejriwal and Tushar Bhai came and met me, so they had given me some topics to talk about. And I was not sure whether I would be able to do justice, but they still insisted that I come and talk. As President Tusharji spoke, right? Yeah, as President, isn't it? Oh, sorry. Okay. So I think I heard Tushar Bhai speak, so obviously I can't emphasize the need for an industry to stay together and work for a common cause. But one thing that struck me, and I normally am a very informal person, so even though my office has given me a written speech, so I try to stay away from that, is something, that one word that struck me is you're yourself considering the converters. Of course, are your customers also present today? No, thankfully, except Lakshmi. Lakshmi was on the other side. Your customers will always make you believe that you are converters. And we start to believe we are converters. And that's probably the mindset that we as packaging suppliers need to change a little bit. Because the moment we accept that we are converters, that means we are just adding a little value and that's about it. Whereas I believe that we as packaging suppliers can add a lot of innovations. We bring a lot of innovations. We do invest in expensive equipment. And of course, if there is no R&D focus, then I would urge that some amount of R&D focus is brought about in the industry, so that if the customer tells you that you are the converters, then you can say, hey, fine, but look here, we do add value, and these are the new things that we can offer you. And this is how it can help you in selling your product better. Just yesterday I was reading a report, and in fact it is on YouTube. It's a story in Japan, a real story, that there is a chain of burgers. You know, burger we all understand, McDonald's and KFCs and all that, right? Burgers. So burger typically tend to be big, right? There is a culture in Japan that a woman is considered not only not beautiful, but also customary. She's not supposed to open her mouth too much. As a result, that burger chain could sell most of its burger only to male members of the male customers. And there were very little female customers. So just a small thing they did. And that is so relevant to the audience here. What they did, they made a wrapper. And that wrapper would stand out like this, right? And holding a burger, right? And eating this here on this side. It's a small, little, cute, this part of the face of a female is printed. So when a female is eating the burger, nobody can see her open her mouth. And their burger sale showed up to female clients. Now, isn't that an innovation? Can you do that? Surely you can. And therefore, you have to start believing that you are not converters. You can add value. And if you start believing that you can add value, you can demand value. Right? And your customers will be happy to pay. So that's one example, and I will start with my presentation. I'll try to make it as relevant as possible for you. I was talking to Sunilji just when I came in, try to understand the composition of the membership. I understand many of you have single units. So a lot of my presentation may not be relevant for those members. But we never know. You can always have more than one unit, can you not? Yeah? Do you aspire to? Sure. So therefore, I would try to... So this is SL Pro Pack. I think the introduction was already made. I will not go further. I will very briefly mention about the journey and this, why I'm using this, okay? I'm not promoting SL Pro Pack, right? But it is a real case situation. Therefore, probably one can relate better. And let's see if we add value. And of course, I will have your questions that I can answer going forward. So some of the milestones. We started SL Pro Pack. At that time, it was called SL Packaging in 1984 with just one unit. And we made only, our capacity was 53 million tubes. And today, in the intro, it was mentioned, we make 6.6 billion tubes. Then 93. Now what happened in between 84 and 93 is that we were a listed company from the day one, and we wiped out all our capital. Nobody could believe, including Lakshmi sitting here, that India, and no reflection on you individually, we are great friends, so I keep preferring Lakshmi, and he's a great technical resource, particularly on the R&D side. I'm sure all of you know him. He just retired from Colgate, India, as their packaging development head. So we have interacted since then, right? Since 84 until last year. So Lakshmi is a dear friend and of course a great critic in a lot of things that we did together. So he challenged us and we challenged him. That was a mutual game that we played. So between 84 and 93, we had wiped out our capital. Because no customer would believe that India can make a product like laminated tubes. Because it was technologically so advanced. It was a new product at that time, globally introduced, replacing aluminum tubes. Right? And therefore, it took us at least 6-7 years for us to convince the customers that we can make it, and we make as good a quality as you get internationally. You are using it in your international subsidiaries, why not in India? But they say, hey, we don't believe that you can make it. So it took us 7 years to convince, and by the time we had lost our capital, and our bankers classified us as potentially sick company. And when you are classified as potentially sick company, I personally had to go to the bank every day So first half from home, I would go to State Bank of India commercial branch, requesting the bank manager that I have issued so-and-so checks. I know I'm getting some payments, but before I get that, please don't return this check. Please honor it. I'll get some customer payments that is coming tomorrow. Against that, you can adjust it. So just a little bit extra credit that I was always looking for. So that was the situation. In 1990, so somewhere about 87 or 89, a stage came when we were doubling our capacity every year. And mind you, in our business, the asset to turnover ratio, that the money that you invest in the business, against that the turnover that we get, in our case, at that time was less than 1. So if we had invested 100 crore rupees, my turnover would be only 80 crores. Whereas in your case, I believe it is 2.5 times, which is still much better. So in 93, we set up a venture in Egypt. We didn't know anything. A customer asked us to set up a factory. We said, we don't know anything. They said, we'll provide you the JV partner. We worked together and we opened a factory in Egypt. In 97, we went, we were the second or first Indian company setting a wholly owned company in China. China was just about opening up at that time. I think Renbexi had gone in, or Renbexi and SL went together almost the same time. And in China, it was the same situation, predominantly again laminated tubes. The huge opportunity to convert them to laminated tubes. Do I need to introduce what is the tube? Laminated plastic, aluminum? No? I'm sure everybody is familiar. Okay. So we went there, and then 99, we bought some assets in South Africa. Then we started 2 greenfields, one in Germany, one in Nepal. Then in 2000, SL Packaging became SL Propack because we had merged a company called Propack, which was a Swiss company, and which was a number 4. We were number 3, or number 3 at that time. So 3 and 4, number 4 merged together became number 1. So with that, we got extended global footprint. And these are all real manufacturing units in those locations. Then in 2003, we set up a factory in US. From the day we decided to go in US, totally new market. Of course, we collaborated with local government, local authorities. And what is the guess? How long should you take to set up a factory? It's investing about $20 million, greenfield. What should be the time frame? I'm just trying to involve you a little bit so that you don't go. 1 year. Any other guess? 2 years. Any other guess?
US it would be 6 months.
6 months. Great. Good guess. So in US, from the day we decided, it was 11 months. From the day we decided and started the production and started supplying to the customer. Our shortest time of setting up a factory, and I'm not trying to boast myself, that's not the idea and that's not my personality. It's just that I'm challenging some of your thoughts. The shortest period of factory can be set up is 24 days. And I've done that in Vada. That was in 94, 93 actually. When I was not able to sell, and then all of a sudden I was flooded with so much of business that I was doubling my capacity. My existing one factory could not house more machines. I bought a land in Vada. It was agricultural land. Did not do NA, did not do anything. I had some structure lying in somewhere else, modified it to the local need, built a shed, bought the utilities. You also need utilities, chilled water and compressed air, right? So we use a lot. So we bought the modular ones and made a GMP, that is GMP, right? Kind of clean room facility in 24 days. So our highest has been 11 months in setting up any factory anywhere in the world. So then we acquired a company in UK in 2004 that made plastic tubes. Then we established a factory in Russia, Moscow. I'm rushing through because some of it may not be relevant to you, but some of the other things may be relevant going forward. Then we bought a flexible packaging unit here in India in 2006. Sorry. Then we opened another factory in US in 2006. And a greenfield again in Poland. This factory was set up in record from greenfield about 4 months. Then a plant in Tianjin. Tianjin is northeast of China. Then we expanded the Poland facility, started with laminated tubes, expanded it. Here Lakshmi comes into the play, right? COCO model, it's a customer-owned company operated. Does it ring a bell? What does it mean? The assets and everything, the factory is owned by the customer. What we do is we supply the raw materials and we supply our expertise and we run the operation for the customer based on their production needs. Right? So this was just last year, 2014. And then we opened another factory in southeast of China. And in last 2-3 years, we have filed about 100 patents, and either on the products or on the processes. Now, mind you, before 3-4 years, we have been innovating. And this is where my learning comes, that we have been doing innovation from the day we started the company. But we were giving it free of cost to the customers, and customers were very happily saying, okay, very good, give it to me. The example is, and all of you understand maybe GSM, I will speak in microns. The first tube that we ever made was 330 microns thickness, the film, the laminate, right? And it used to have 7 layers. 7 main layers. Today, can you guess what we would be making the tube? Same, no compromise on the efficacy of the tube or the product. Any guess?
150 microns.
150? Okay, that's educated guess. So we have gone down to 180 microns. And of course we removed one layer, which was paper, and most of you deal with paper, right? So there used to be a paper layer in laminated tubes. And we never patented those. We used to give free of cost because we also believed we were converters. And customer would never give you benefit of it. And whatever you knocked off, all of it got passed on to the customer. You were happy, you were getting more business. But then what customer Lakshmi typically would ask, hey, give me the details of all your structures. And we were bound to give him. Sorry, you are not a punching bag today, Lakshmi. We would give it, and what the customer would do, next thing he would pass on that specification to somebody else and would get that made. You lost all your opportunities, all your R&D cost is gone. So we said we are not going to do it anymore. So we started to patent those. And just last 3 years we have patented about 100. So I'm just trying to think and make it relevant for you, what I'm saying, is building oneself on home turf. Because for me it is relevant because I'm gone global. But before going global, what we had to do, and which I think is relevant, even if you have one factory, tomorrow you will have two factories, your complexities will multiply. How many of you have more than one plant? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now, do you think when you had one factory and when you made a second factory, your complexities just doubled or it increased manifold? Haji? It reduced. Complexity gets reduced. Okay, because you could shift some of the products. Yeah, that is later, but okay, supply chain and all that. My belief is, and our experience is, that when you have more than one factory, your complexity actually doesn't double. Of course, later on you draw synergies and therefore you get benefited out of it. But in terms of management complexities, that goes more than double. That actually multiplies. And therefore it is important that whatever I do a normal carton for whatever application, and then I go in laminated cartons. You also have laminated cartons, right? Reverse printed or not? I don't know. Huh? Surface. So there are. So you go more fancier. You go. Then there are other. I don't. The fact that I don't understand your industry, so I'm struggling to guess. Whatever we do, one has to perfect in my own whatever I do. I'll probably elaborate this little more in detail going forward. And what do I mean by that is that in my own example, that's better because there's no point me getting into carton, thinking about carton right now. So when we started to make, customer did not believe that we could make the tubes, right? Because it was so complex. We had 3 collaborators. One collaboration came from US, one from Switzerland, one from Japan. So we had 3 collaborations, and therefore we could make a product. Even in spite of having collaboration. Can you believe what was the scrap levels that we were running? We were running more than 30% scrap levels. And so that necessitated us to really think how to run and operate our machines. Even though we sent our engineers on training to Japan and to Switzerland, when they came back, they still couldn't run it. And when a defect came, do you also have rejects from customers? Now that defect, one thing is you go and correct it, or you take the supplies and you make the fresh order, but what happens to the ones you already supplied? You sort and probably supply again. Sort it out. But then it doesn't stop there. What we had to do was that we had to replicate that defect in our machines. Again, if we could not find out the reason why it happened, just by looking at the carton or the tube, we had to go back in such a detail that we traced back what was the material, what was the batch of material used, which shift it was made, who were the operators. After going back so much in depth that you had to have that process and then replicate that defect in the machine. So because we could prove that we have understood what has gone into it, we could replicate it in front of the customer, then found a solution. That time is the customer that believes that you have your systems and processes designed in such a way that that the customer gets the confidence that yes, you understand what you mean, right? And this is what I mean by building oneself on home turf. Otherwise, the multinational customers, and I'm sure most of you deal with all kinds of customers, including multinationals, they don't believe that you to be a quality supplier or a supplier who can be depended upon. And that's another reason why you have to remove that tag of being converters, right? And based on that, then obviously we could use that as a springboard to go global. I'm not going too much into that. This is the problem statement you also have, right? Can we build that as a reason for me to become much more efficient? Can I be much more innovative? Can I give the same burst strength? I'm sure cartons are measured by one of the factors is burst strength. Can you give the same burst strength with a lesser paper, or by adding something else, or I don't know what? You guys know your business better. And challenging distribution environment means what? All the trucks and the strike and octroi and all kinds of things, right? That's what I mean by, and the roads not being correct. And when it is monsoon, if the tarpaulin leaked, your carton soaked the water, and all kinds of issues happen. And political and economic environment right now is not such a big challenge, but at that time for us it was, because it was a license regime, right? We could not import anything without a specific license. We could not travel. Those who have traveled at that time, you had to have a specific permit. You were permitted specific foreign exchange that you could use and travel overseas. Otherwise, you could not do that. So that's what I meant, and that time under those environments, I think that's when your creative cap comes into play, creative thinking actually comes. Strategic vision. So one vision that for the industry you can set is that, hey, we are going to work, not going to call ourselves converters. Second is for my own business, whatever my size, whether I'm running with my own son, with my brother, with my father, but I have to have a strategic vision. For my business, doesn't matter the size. It is not a pie in the sky or something which is so theoretical. It used to be, not anymore. So why is it relevant to me? It is relevant because you set yourself a strategic direction that in next 5 years, 10 years, my revenue is going to be so much, or I'm going to add so much other product line, or my EBITDA margin. Do you work on EBITDA margins? Yeah. So my EBITDA margin is going to go so much. How, you may not know right now. Doesn't matter. Will you achieve it or not? Doesn't matter. But at least set a sight. Set a clear strategy for your business going forward. I think that's very important. Whether it's family-run business or professionally managed. And I also didn't believe in it, honestly. When I started my career, I didn't believe in it. But then as I went, as I understood more and more, and the type of customers that we dealt with, it was very important that we set that. Some of it you do it so that there are two kinds of strategic vision. One is for internal focused, that the examples I gave, that I will have so much turnover, I will have so much EBITDA margins. But externally focused is what you share with your customer. Is that, okay, I will be the best quality provider of so-and-so product. I will have so many innovations going on. Maybe every year or every 3 years I will have so many new products, etc., etc. And my service level. Do you work on service levels? Are you get measured on OTIF, on time in full quality? Yeah. So I will have my OTIF levels at so much. That could be externally focused strategy or vision that you can set for yourself. So this is absolutely necessary to set yourself as a strong you create your position as a very strong position in domestic market. Domestic, of course, okay, your objective is domestic, doesn't matter. So one factory, I'm going to be best. I'm going to have 2 more factories, I'm going to be best. Am I going to acquire some other company? Sure, I will. Why not? And therefore, I will grow my business. And for that to do, I have to be perfect in whatever I'm currently doing. Set a strong position of yourself. Then I can build on from there going forward. Technology platforms of the future. What do I mean by that? I think the gentleman from ESCO is here, right? At least, yeah, there. Any other machinery suppliers? HB Fuller, what do they supply? Adhesives, okay. Right. Now, let me just give you, what do I mean by that? Is when we started, our tube making machines could make maximum about 60 tubes a minute. So you must be having carton making machine 500 cartons a minute? 500? More than that? Yeah? Okay. So I explained to you from 330 micron thickness, we went down to 180 in terms of machines. We went from 60 tubes a minute to 180, then 240. This year, we have launched a machine which is now 500 tubes a minute. Okay, for you it may not sound so big, but for us it is, for our industry. So how do we do that? We actually challenge our machinery suppliers based on my market needs, that I need so-and-so improvements in the machines, and I need so-and-so things, and I don't want certain things also, so that I can reduce certain cost and I can add certain cost. How do we generate that? I think we have to have technologically strong teams, whether you yourself do it or you have people do it. So we partner with our machinery suppliers, and we challenge them on cost, we challenge them on what products we need, and this is how we've been innovating on tube making. Now there have been other machinery suppliers, I will not name them, I will therefore also not name the process. But let me say it was plastic tube. There was one global company which made those products, which are best machines in the world. And any time we approached them, this thing was, they didn't give a damn. Even though we had purchased the machines from them, there were 2 or 3 machines we had. And any time we asked them to come and meet us, or us going and meeting, they wouldn't respond. And they were the most expensive, obviously. So what we did was that we went to some other country. We knew there are people who are making these machines. We worked with them, we understood their technological capabilities. And we said, we are going to guarantee that so many machines we are going to buy. You understand the technology. We can tell you what process, from process perspective we can tell you. And therefore we developed the machines. And we developed that machine, can you believe what cost of the original? 30%. And subsequently any machines we bought from that manufacturer. We never even went. Now next time this machinery suppliers wanted appointment, we said, sorry, we don't have time. Again, it's not about boasting myself, that please take that away. It's about how do you challenge the status quo. Sometimes we take things, then no, this can change, because it is that way. Nothing can be that way. We have to challenge, and so let me speak at this stage so I can rush through in the subsequent part of the presentation. Nothing is constant. We challenge the machinery supplier, we challenge even the material suppliers. Challenge in the sense not that we get into a fighting mode, no. We just say we need it, And that is the change that we need. Can you do it? If they say yes, we are willing to look at it, you have won half the battle. If they say no, we can't look at it, then we make sure that in future we reduce the dependence on that supplier and increase the dependence on somebody else who's willing to partner with you on a strategic level. So that's how we deal with the polymer material suppliers. That's how we deal with the machinery suppliers. And we also engage with the customers on the same basis. That many customers in the world today say that, okay, you are my strategic partner. They always say you are a partner. That's a nice language to use. Fine, we are partner here, we understand. But there are global customers who actually, they have a process themselves that they certify and qualify and they sign a contract with you that you are a preferred partner in a particular geography or in the globe. In my case, we have a strategic partnership with at least 2 customers globally. And we have many more customers where we have strategic partnership in specific geographies. So that's how we work, and that is another way of getting out of the mindset of being converters. Further details one can look and apply depending on. And this may not be relevant, but this would be relevant from one plant to the other. If you have developed a deep expertise, then how do you transfer that knowledge from one unit to the other? So for that you develop these standard operating procedures and things like that. I'm going to go further. So that's the idea that how do we. Another thing is that we sometimes pride ourselves in jugaad. Yeah. Is it good or bad? Good. Any opposite view?
It's bad. At times good.
At times good, not always good.
It's bad.
It's bad, okay? So we have divided view, right? And rightly so. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer to that. My definition of a jugaad is that if you do a jugaad and you can document it and you can replicate the same thing again, it's no more a jugaad. It becomes an innovation. Yeah, do I repeat it? If you make a jugaad, but you do the jugaad in a way that you documented it and you were able to replicate it, the same thing again, then it no more remains a jugaad, it becomes a innovation. And that's all about innovation. Innovation sounds like too fancy terminology. It is not. It's just that you document it, you make this as a habit to document, and you should be able to do it again and again. It's called innovation. As simple as that. So it could be for the machine, it could be for the process, it could be for how you deal with the customer, how do you deal with your supplier. It's all about that, and documenting and sharing that knowledge within your organization, building that knowledge bank is what is called innovation. So this I don't think is relevant here. Innovation I've already explained in material, in process, in technology, and process also. That there is something called MOST. There is a technical name of a study called MOST. How many of you are familiar with that? I don't remember the full name. It was developed by a Swedish scientist or an engineer. It basically means that is time and motion study. That sounds familiar? Yeah. Time and motion. So that's the formal name of MOST, and there is a process that you follow. So if you do that MOST or the time and motion study in everything that we do, even a clerk is or accountant is doing certain process. Can we look at and challenge it, why it is done in so many steps? Can we shrink that steps? Of course, maker and checker concept still remains, right? So that you have cross checks, cross verifications. Yet you can speed up things. That's what is time and motion study. So that gets applied to the processes, and therefore we can shorten the process, the time lead, and therefore everything costs money, right? So time costs money. So that's what I mean by innovation in the process. So innovation is the thing, and again, innovation is not a pie in the sky. It's a nicer way of doing that, right? So creativity and innovation we've already spoken about. That's another name of R&D, right? People capable. That's very important. What is the average size of employees that you have in the organization? 50, 70, maybe sometimes 100. Does it sometimes become a challenge or not really? Always. So therefore, human resource, the practices become very important. And when we talk about culture, India, forget about world, let's talk about India. How many written scripts we have in our country? Ajit? Written script. Thousands dialects, yes, you're right. But I think 25 was, around 25 are the written scripts. How many languages? About 40, I think. And dialects is thousands. And the food changes in every 100 kilometers, right? So our dialects change, our food change, our dressing habits change. So are we not a world to ourselves? We are. And I'm sure our employees also represent, by and large, whole of country.